Hey guys, can you hear me now? Saltix and Tareyak, can you hear me? Tareyak, if you hear me, can you whisper me in game? Alright guys, thanks now. Now I actually don't need the spell power, mate. Saltix. Yeah, that's good. I don't need the spell power gear, I just need the enchant. I'm missing enchant right now, as you can see. And if you want to make a threat, you don't need the spell power to gear. Of course, it is much helpful, but if you are good, you don't need it. Actually, the Feral Druid you see right now here, he's quite good geared. That's why I let him to main tank. Otherwise, I would be main tanking. And this is my first UBRS in Classic, that's why I'm a little more like letting him doing instead of me. Just to see how things are around before I go on my own. And I can tell you that it is so much easier, this UBRS, compared to private servers. So much easier. Oh, they are not getting pulled. And I also have a Retribution Paladin in my group, so the threat is pretty high, I can tell you that. It's just that you can see so often the druid is even taunting me to get the threat from me. But he's taunting, you see, he did a taunt, otherwise he wouldn't threat me. He's doing that because he have better gear to survive much easier than me. Of course, he have a molten core raid gear, and I'm just on the free raid beast. And I don't like to risk or sacrifice the group, so I'd rather have it done properly and easy. Oh shit, I got disconnected. I don't know why it is like this, but I'm getting some random disconnects in game. As you can see, I'm not getting disconnect in the stream, it's just in-game disconnects I'm getting, I don't know why. And you can see that on your own. It's maybe Blizzard thingy, maybe not. I forgot to buff the group with salvation. And by the way, I don't really need to buff the group with kings in order to make the threat. All I need is just to buff the sanctuary to the group, and the threat is here. So I don't really need that kings to do. When Sanctuary is doing the same job, it just requires more mana, that's it. That's the difference between the Kings and the Sanctuary. More mana. And you can see I am not going to have that problem with mana. Especially from the Dead Bone set, I'm regenerating a lot of mana. I don't know why this guy is so scared to do it, but I'm going to do it and full. I'm going to regen my mana. Unfortunately, I'm not able to use my Flurry Axe right now because it's not a skill at my axe, one-hand attack. Otherwise, it's much more threat than the Trash Blade I have. Trash Blade is really bad on threat. Flurry Axe is much better. Otherwise I would been using it. You see, I got it, but my skill is not good, so I need to use it, just to skill it. I think I can even solo this one, you know, when I get much better gear like the druid gear. What he's doing? He lost aggro, low. Oh, the Paladins don't have the aggro. I'm going to use. By the way, buffing is fine for threat, but I can do much more threat with the holy shield and stuff like that. I'm going to use my Leon Can because a lot of mobs are pulled and the group is kind of, I don't know. We have like 2 healers and one of the healers is Retribution. He's not even a healer here. That's the main issue right now. We get only 1 healer we have. And I got Gotch. That's why my aggro is down. Yeah. That is actually correct, mate. It's like 200% much more damage done. Now, Saltix, I'm not going to use seal command. It's not good. It's not good for threat even. It's very bad. Maybe for a single target, but if you're using consecration, no, I'm not recommending or suggesting it. Yeah, actually it is true that the private servers had overtuned stuff to add the difficulty. This is true. The problem with that is that they are doing like 200% much more physical damage, the private servers. That's why they are overtuned. This is true. It's not a conspiration or something. If you hear so loud this game, I am going to reduce the voice like this. Oh shit, he pulled and I'm a little late. Damn it. And I'm not able to even touch him because he pulled before I do. Nah, didn't drop what I was chasing for retribution. This is really nice legs, but not for me. It's for a druid. Ah, okay. What they are waiting for? Maybe a healer. Yeah. I had to do that. People should be killing the fire mobs, but they are not. They are. Actually, the people should be killing the rage town fire. They are doing a lot of fire damage. The other mobs are not doing anything special, but people seems to not care about it. So that's why they are dying around. He is taunting from me. Why? I don't know. But it's funny. Why? Why is he doing that? Like, not losing aggro or anything. Taunt. It's funny when I see people taunting, but I'm not going to get aggro from here now. I'm just going to regen my mana. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool for me that he is taunting. I even asked him to do it. They are writing some funny stuff on the chat, but unfortunately you cannot read it. Imagine we are needing some markers for crowd control and so on. I'm telling them, like, why do you need a crowd control? You don't need that. Just kill the casters and it's fine. And they are like, oh, maxing mode is on. Wow, wow, wow. It's funny how people behave like that. Whoa. They just do AoE free, like as a tank power. That's the main thing you will enjoy in any raid. But I got dodge from the assassin, which is nasty and I hate it. When I get dodge, the rogue ability, then the other tank should taunt if he's skilled enough to do it. Healers don't have a lot of mana. Boo, man. Why he's not even pulling and he have a lot of good gear, the druid, and I don't. I'm on a very poor gear and he has to take over all of the mobs, not me. Like I will show you what kind of gear the druid is using. Like, he should be rushing forward like crazy, not to wait for me. If I had a good gear, like at least in chance and the defense cap, so I would solo this easy. But right now I'm far from that. Like, look, you have this molten core. Elixir, everything, the best gear he needs for a druid tank he have. Maybe some parts he's missing, but he have a lot of good gear compared to me. Okay, the hunter is going to hide. They use tactics so much, but I think the hunter is going to lose aggro maybe. Going to regen my mana very easy, and with my regenerating my mana, the boss is getting some aggro for me. Why do you need a current fight? Like, there is no point. I can do it. Like, let me check it out. kill someone for more threat, but seems nobody. Alright, I don't need any more. I just need them to heal me, that's all. Oh, holy shit. Nice, it dropped. Did someone ninja that? Let me see. Hello, I won on grid the breastplate of valor and I won the need. Okay. Oh, I don't get the Blackrock attunement, I'm so noob. Actually my shield is much better for damage reduction, but the other shield is giving me defense cap, so I'm in between of using. But when I get the enchant with defense, then I'm going to use this one. Otherwise the fire resistance shield is good for defense cap, so I'm going to keep that as a backup. Thanks, mate. Tarek, now we can do the podcast if you like on the Discord. On my DPS, on the DPS gear, let me show you. This is the Warlock. This is the DPS that we had on the previous fight, Celtics. But it's a random group and I don't even have a chance for threat, you know. That's the DPS. Like, you cannot always judge like that for according to DPS. Some mobs are doing are needing like more time to kill, and some mobs are needing like less time to kill. And if you have like higher DPSers and those mobs are dying in a few seconds, it's like nothing you can judge about it. But if the mob or boss is dying in like 2 minutes, it's a different story. Then the DPS requirement is needed. But sure, you can see this. This was general. This is for the mobs where the mage was AoEing 400 DPS or something. This is other group where the warrior DPS was higher and I was like third on the DPS. I don't know why do you point out on the DPS, but I'm not even in a good gear to judge about it. Yeah, of course the locks are going to steal the threat at the beginning from the big crits, but later it's a different story. At the beginning he can do it if he like go ahead like an asshole forward. Like, come on, even the warriors sometimes need like 1 or 2 seconds to make a threat. But if you have a guy who goes straight forward on making a lot of DPS without even waiting the tank to make aggro, that's normal, that's typical for everywhere, not just for here. It doesn't matter what you are playing, druid or and I'm on a tanking gear. I'm not even on threat gear. If I'm using the threat gear, it's a different story. My defense right now is, yeah, 318, 328. It can go higher. I need 340 become a defense cap right now, and I need enchants because my stamina is very low right now. Why I'm telling this is better, because the damage income you are blocking is much higher, and with long duration of time it's much more worthy than the other shield. But once I get the enchants with defense on my gear from leatherworking and enchanting, then I'm going to become a defense cap, and when I'm using this shield it's going to be so much easier. I know Outer Valley shield is much better, but I will go for it when I get time. No, I don't need a threat gear to use. I just need a weapon for threat, nothing else. Honestly, threat gear you don't need as a protection paladin if you know how to play good. Just maybe you need like 1-2 seconds, that's all, to begin making the threat. The rest is all about the holy shield procs, and if you have a retry on your group with spell damage, or I mean the shadow oil or brilliant wizard oil or spell damage enchant or greater arcane elixir, you're doing much more threat than you need. You just don't need more threat. If you want to have more threat, it's fine, but I don't see a point for having a threat gear when in the current situation, with the current gear people have, threat is not an issue. And if you go forward with higher level of the people gear, then you will obviously get a better threat gear, like better threat weapon. Yeah, only threat weapon with enchants for threat. That's all you need, nothing else. If you are good on making threat as a protection paladin. Seal of Righteousness is getting a lot of more, is getting enough threat with spell damage and everything, especially if you have a retry in your group, it's going to be cake easy to make threat. And in last scenario, as you said, you just spam greater blessings, and there is no point to use a threat gear. All those people who are using threat gear is just because they don't know how to keep that threat. For example, if at the beginning, like I'm using 1 or 2 consecrations at the beginning for the pool to make some straight threat. Otherwise, later it's all about Holy Shield, Judgment of Wisdom, Seal, and Judge of Righteousness. That's all. Nothing more than that you need. And all threat will be your. If you are spamming consecrations, you are eventually going to lose your mana. And in that case you're going to do much lesser threat, because consecration is not that big amount of threat on a single target. Holy Shield is. So instead of spamming consecration, spam Holy Shield and Judgment for Righteousness. Judgments if people are, yeah, okay. What happened when you random DPS? If I have that kind of group in my dungeon run, I'm going to be first. Okay. No, I don't need that. If you have that kind of scenario with that kind of people in your group, number one, you need better weapon, raid weapon. Okay, if you are in a group with with raiders, that means you need also to have a raid gear. In that case, there is a blade from Molten Core, from Golemak, Azure Song Mage Blade. In that case, this blade is good threat weapon for you, and this is increasing your threat. You don't need a set or items for that, just weapon. If you have that sword, then you're equal to those raiders, and they're not going to get the threat from you. And if I have in that case, okay, let's say example, I don't have a good, yeah, exactly. That's what giving a lot of amount of spell power, which is indeed increasing my threat by a lot. The critical strikes for my Judgment of Righteousness and the spell damage is increasing a lot of threat. Like, it's not 4 damage as the coefficient says, it's much higher because of one-handed weapon specialization. And it's not only the sword, the enchant and all those stuff like oils, elixirs, and enchants are giving you a lot amount of threat. Tarek, I'm adding on the Discord, waiting for you to accept me. And yeah, I didn't say that when in that case you have, let's say for example, poor threat weapon like I am right now. It's not poor, this one, but I need a weapon skill. If you have this kind of poor weapon for threat and you have a good and strong raider DPS in your group, you gotta be faster pulling. If I'm faster on pulls, they are not going to reach me. And if I go fast out there to pull everything, I'm going to make much higher threat before they even begin doing anything. The rest of the threat is going to be done by the return damage, like Holy Shield, which is doing a lot of threat. Even in the beginning they are not over aggroing you, later is easy. And in the last scenario you have threat meter, and if you want to go in the raids, you ask people to watch their threat meter. If you have assholes, they are going to be assholes always. Like, if people want to be normal raiders, they go to watching everything, not just. Yeah, there are 3 types of gear. I already mentioned on my last podcast. There are 3 types of gear, or 4, let's say. One type of gear is stamina gear. The second type of gear, okay, the second type of gear is defense gear for hard hitting bosses. Stamina gear is best for fire resistance requirement bosses and so on, like those who are doing spells. The defense gear is for hard hitting bosses, let's say Gar, Golemak or Chromagus or so on. Okay, let me check out that gear you show me. It's a shadow resistance gear, good. I'm not going to take the legs, no way I'm going to use cloth. So I'd rather get a different type of legs in your gear, mate. But tier 2 is retry, it is threat gear, but it's more for a retribution, not for a tank. I don't really need that threat gear. Like, it's very bad to survive with that gear, mate. It is indeed threat gear, but very bad to survive. And I'd rather use Thunder Fury than Locomere. Because you talk about threat, you're not going to use that mace. You're going to use Thunder Fury. And yeah, just replace those cloak gear, you don't need it. And the fingers I'm going to replace, they don't even have a stamina. But there is no point to use that threat gear. Okay, Tareak, I'm going to call you on Discord, okay, mate? So we can talk there. It's much better than in-game waiting like that. Later I'm going to upload some Upper Blackrock Spire videos when I get the chance for much faster run and efficient run. Okay. Let me find you now. Okay, I'm calling you on the Discord, mate. Hey bro, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm good yourself?
Hmm?
I'm good yourself?
Yeah, I'm cool. So, yeah, we can talk, we can have a discussion about the stuff if you want.
So, yeah, like the main thing I kind of wanted to broach and hear your opinion on, at least, is like what I've seen from, I don't know if you've seen Scarm and all that, like a lot of trash talking's been said against the prop paladins, and like there's basically three main arguments why you wouldn't bring a prop paladin, and that's basically they don't have a taunt, their mitigation isn't as good as a warrior's, and their threat's not as good as a warrior's. And I've kind of been testing out a lot of stuff. I don't know, for like you've probably seen a lot of the comments on your YouTube and all that stuff. But from my kind of perspective, like there's plenty of bosses like Nixie and Hakar that resist the taunt, and taunt has a 15% chance to resist anyway. So that whole first argument of it being like they don't have a taunt, it's a pretty irrelevant argument, seeing as that most kind of bosses are taunt immune anyway.
Yeah. That's true. But just I'm going to cut you a bit. Sorry. I need to reopen again my stream so I can make it in a form of podcast discussion, because right now I'm not going to upload this kind of random video and that I have currently.
Yeah, cool.
So give me 1 second to reopen again the stream.